This is the person that a lot of our patriarchs learned from, Melchizedek. So, therefore, it makes sense as to why this individual can be called a Kohen for the Most High, because he has the mitzvot. Okay? Now, I want to go to Psalms chapter 110, and this is where it's going to get good, and I might have to give a microphone to my friend in the back who's standing up because he can't sit still when I start talking about Hebrews chapter 7, because we're getting ready to go there in a second. But I need to read to you chapter number 110 of Psalms. It says, a Psalm of David. Who writes the Psalms? David. His son, Shlomo, writes the Song of Solomon, or Song of Shlomo. He also writes Ecclesiastics, and he also writes the Proverbs. I want to make a huge point right here. A Psalm of David, Psalm 110, it says, Eye Asher Eye, says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Eye Asher Eye will send, I want to see if you can figure out who he's talking about. Eye Asher Eye will send your powerful scepter out from Zion. Who just conquered Zion? David. David conquered Zion. So that you will rule over your enemies around you. Is that not what is that the Most High told Nathan? And David is thanking him for this particular piece right here. 3, on the day your forces mobilize, your people willingly offer themselves in set-apart splendor from the womb of the dawn. The dew of your youth is yours. 4, Eye Asher Eye. Who is this? I just want to make sure, matter of fact, I should make y'all read this. Matter of fact, let's just read it together. Eye Asher Eye. Well, y'all missed that when I said, let's read this together. 1 and 2 and, okay. Eye Asher Eye has sworn it, and he will never retract it. You are a Kohen forever, to be compared with Melchizedek. This is the only place in text that you will ever hear the Most High or anybody say anybody being compared to Melchizedek. And who is that? King David. Okay? Five, Eye Asher Eye, at your right hand will slaughter kings on the day of his anger. Did we just not read in chapter number 8 all of these places and the people that the Most High allowed David to take out? 22,000, 30,000, all these people, 18,000. 6, he will pass judgment among the nations, filling it with dead bodies. He will shatter heads throughout it's an extensive territory. He will drink from a stream as he goes on his way. Therefore, he will hold his head high. Hebrews chapter number 7 in the New Testament reads as such. Now that you have all of the backstory, now that you know who is compared to Melchizedek, now that you know that Melchizedek is Shem, let's set all this up and go through this. Okay? This, now Hebrews, you in a Greek text now. What are you supposed to have on right now? We got to put on our mitzvot caps, okay? We are verifying everything that's written here. This Melchizedek, king of Salem, is that right? Yes. A Kohen of El Elyon, the Most High. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah. Met Avraham, that should be Avram because his name wasn't changed yet, but I'll give you that one. Met Avraham on his way back from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. Is that correct? Okay, we're on good ground. Also, Avram gave him a tenth of everything. Is that correct? Did it say that he gave him a tenth of everything? Okay. Let's just say that he did. Doesn't matter, because it's going to get blown out of the water anyway. Let's just say that he did. Now, first of all, by translation, the name, he is king of righteousness. Is that correct? Yes. And then he is also king of Shalem, which means king of peace. It sounds like they're teaching Hebrew over here in the New Testament, y'all. We on good ground. All right. 3, there is no record of his father. Wait a minute. I just told you that Melchizedek, was Shem. And who was Shem's father? Noach. We are not going to get too far into this before, but again, you guys, again, what is the whole entire deal of this doctrine that they have over here? These ancillary books, stay out of them. Don't read them. They don't mean anything. Don't learn the mitzvot, because if you do, it will tear down our doctrine. Just stay over here. Paul Mooney. Oh, I can't even say that joke. Anyway, I can't do that. Paul Mooney is one of my favorite comedians. I can't say that joke. Anyway, let's go. There is no record of his father. That's not true. Mother, ancestry. Excuse me, ancestry? We know his ancestry. Birth or death. Rather, like the son of El, he continues as a Kohanim for all time. No, Melchizedek died. Okay? So we got things wrong with verse 3. Can we agree with that? Okay. Verse 4. Just think how great he was. Even the patriarch Abraham gave him a tenth, of the choicest spoils. Now the descendants of Levi, who became Kohanim, have the Wait a minute. Are they getting ready to quote? They're getting ready to quote y'all text. Let's see. The commandment in the Torah to take a tenth of the income of the people, that is, from their own brothers, despite the fact that they too are descended from Avram. But Melchizedek, even though he was not descended from Levi, took a tenth from Abraham. You see what they're doing? They want that money too. Let me just say that too. Let me just say this. I got some new folks that's in here. When you with your folks and they over there complaining about the tithe and what they need to do, they 10%, you need to call them on that. Say, I'm going to release you. I'm going to give you agency and on this. You do not have to pay a tithe. And if your pastor gets in front of you and tells you that, he's out of compliance. Why? Because you're not Hebrew. That is a Hebrew mitzvah. And the reason why that tithe is paid is because our brothers don't have an inheritance in the land. And why were they designated to be the Most High's own? Because when the goat, Moshe, came down from the mountain and they said, who is going to stand with the Most High? The tribe of Levi stepped out and said, I will be for the Most High. And they were designated. So when we get into the land, they don't have an inheritance. So everybody and the rest of the tribes pulls a tenth to pay for them. That's why you have mitzvot. Look, good gracious, how many mitzvot did I just rattle off? That's why you have the mitzvot on what? The cities of refuge. You have the mitzvot on the Levitical cities. How long a person can stay there. These are all things that are germane to the Levitical tribe. Okay? And the Kohanim being a part of that. But you're trying to apply the fact that because Levi was an Avraham seed floating around somewhere, how can that work? Because we got to come through Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov to get to Levi. That Levi now, when he's set aside, you see how this, I'm trying to unravel this. Levi is now set aside as paying a tenth. So it's like what Abraham did, paying Melchizedek, was like what what the tribes were going to do to the tribe of Levi. See how convoluted that is? That's what you're trying to do here. Now, I'm going to sum this all up for y'all. Or really, I am. I'm going to make this real simple at the end, okay? Because I'm going through a lot of detail here. Moreover, let's go verse 8. Moreover, in the case of Kohanim, the tenth is received by men who die. That is correct. While in the case of Melchizedek, it is received by someone who is testified to be still alive. Is Melchizedek testifying to be still alive? No. 9. One might even go further. Do you understand what they're saying? What's happening right now? This is commentary. This is commentary. We're not quoting anything. This is setting up a philosophy. Think of it like this. One might even go further to say that Levi, who himself receives a tenth, paid a tenth through Abraham, insomuch as was still his ancestor, Abraham's body, when Melchizedek met him. Therefore, that's a lot to unpack. There's a ton of mitzvot in there that are all wrong. But I'm going to keep going. 11. Therefore, if it had been possible to reach the goal through a system of Kohanim derived from Levi, since in connection with it the people were given the Torah, what need would there have been for another, different kind of Kohanim, the one spoken of as to be compared with Melchizedek and not to be compared with Aharon? Whew! Break that apart. In theory, you're right, because he's saying right at the top, therefore, if it had been possible to reach the goal through a system of Kohanim to drive through Levi, here it is. What need would there have been for another? They're trying to set up something to say, we're going to establish something else. So had you been able to reach your goals through Torah, we wouldn't have to establish something else. So since it wasn't met, we got to establish something different. Okay? In the sense that different kind of Kohanim, the one spoken of as being compared with Melchizedek. Who has been compared to Melchizedek that we know of? David, okay? And not being compared to Aharon. For if the system of Kohanim is transformed. Why does that not make y'all go crazy right now? That should be so triggering to y'all right now. Even that baby back there know that that's triggering. You should be triggered, or I must be boring y'all half to death. Right now, I'm coming out of my skin by reading that. And so should y'all. Maybe I need to read it a little bit slower for y'all. Let's wake up. It's right there in front of you. It says what? It says 12. For if the system of Kohanim is transformed, why are we talking about transforming anything? There must be of necessity occur to transform the transformation of Torah. They just put it at your doorstep. You cannot take away, add to, do anything. They just told you. This is where they get licensed to say, we can do away with it. That's what I'm trying to get out of y'all. The egregiousness is in your face. Right here, it says in 12 emphatically, for if the system of Kohanim is transformed, that's our agenda, there must of necessity, there's a need, it's important, it's tantamount to occur a transformation of Torah. The one whom these things are said belongs to another tribe, from which no one has ever served at the altar. That's true, that's Yehudah. For everyone knows that our Lord arose out of Yehudah. No, he didn't. He came out of the tribe of Levi. His mother is a Levite. Go to Dr. Luke, chapter number 1. It talks about how Elisheva is a close descendant of Mary. Mary is the only blood relative to Yeshua. Joseph has nothing to do with this man. Matter of fact, you know what's up, Rabbi? They don't even need Hebrews chapter 7. Because if you're trying to establish Yeshua as Kohen Gadol, he's already from the tribe of Levi, you clowns. Why would you try to establish him as something else? Why are we doing these gyrations when he's already from that tribe? You can already tell him he's a Kohanim. But I'm giving my thunder away because that's what they're getting ready to tell you here later on. Okay. 13. Oh, I already read that already. 15. It becomes even clearer. Since y'all don't get it, let's make it even clearer. Since we just told you that we just got rid of Torah, let me make it even more emphatic for you. Okay? 15. It becomes even clearer if a different kind of Kohen, like Melchizedek, arises, one who became a Kohanim not by the virtue of Torah concerning physical descent, but by virtue of the power of an indestructible life. So we're establishing our Cohen based on the precedent that he never dies. They are telling you the agenda, but you don't look at it that way because you're brought in. This is the travesty of what's going on across the street. You're brought in already knowing that Torah is negative. It is something bad. It is something evil. It is something done away with. We've upgraded. Why are you back there? You come in thinking that way when that's not the case. Let's go on. It says, for it is stated, you are a Kohen forever, to be compared to Melchizedek. I want to go a little bit further. Thus, on one hand, the earlier rule is set aside because of its weakness and inefficacy. So let's do away with Torah because it's weak, ineffective. For the Torah did not bring anything to the goal. If you haven't got up, and matter of fact, let's just go right now. We're done. Let's just pack this thing up right now and leave. Not only did you smack me in the face and spit on me, now you're putting some stank on it. Okay? Making a statement like that by saying that the Torah didn't bring anything to this goal. If you knew anything about dispensations of time of 6th, 7th, and 8th, you would understand that the Torah can't be brought to, in this day and age, it cannot be brought to its goal. But see, you wouldn't know that because you don't read no text. And you let somebody just tell you that. Okay. And on the other hand, a hope of something better is introduced, through which we are all drawn to Yahweh. Okay? 20. This is the part where I can't give it away because okay. What is more? Eye Asher Eye El Shaddai, Yahweh Savaot, El Elyon, Yahweh. Yahweh swore an oath, for no oath was sworn in connection with those who become Kohanim now. But Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath which El swore when he said to him. Stop. Pause. Wait a minute. 21. But Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath which El swore when he said to him. El said to Yeshua, Eye Asher Yes has sworn and will not change his mind. You are Kohanim forever. Excuse me if we go back. That's coming out of Psalms 110. That is David, not you. All you have to do is even go to Psalms chapter 110 and then come over here and say, hey, listen, you got a problem that's right here. You got a statement that says that Yeshua became a Kohanim by the oath. Where is that? Please tell me where that is written down. Where Yeshua has been made, there's an oath made between Yeshua and the Most High. I thought that Yeshua was the Most High. So he's making an oath to himself. That he swore to himself, that he said to himself, that Eye Asher Eye, me, swore not to change my mind. Which this is exactly what's happening over here, because in the pretext, doesn't it just say we need to do something else? If this is ordained by the Most High, then he doesn't change his mind. What? Woo, y'all putting the dagger to your own throat in your own text. Also, this even gets better, y'all. It says also, this shows how much better is the covenant of which Yeshua has become the guarantor. Moreover, the present Kohanim are many in number because they are prevented by death from continuing in office. But because he lives, who they're talking about is Yeshua, forever, his position as Kohanim does not pass on to someone else. And consequently, he is totally able to deliver those who approach El through him. How is that possible? The Most High does not accept human sacrifices. How does that work? Since he is alive forever and thus forever able to intercede on their behalf. This is the kind of Kohanim Gadol that meets our needs. That's 3 strikes you out. Come on now. There are 3 places in there that say we changed it. We put it in your face. We're telling you that the Torah is weak and ineffective. We don't need it anymore. So on and so forth. And you got this 3rd strike here that says this is the kind of Kohanim Gadol that meets our needs. I don't care what Yahweh wants. This is what we want. Set apart, without evil. How do you define what evil is? You have to have the Torah in order to understand what that is, and you just did away with it. So by what standards are we evaluating evil now, since it's been done away with? Without stain, set apart. How do you get set apart, Rosh or Hodesh, without being, again, Torah, from sinners and raised higher than the heavens? Now you're getting way out of bounds. You saying that you are higher than the heavens where the Most High's throne is? With this teaching, come on. One who does not have daily necessities like the other Kohanim Gadol, of offering up sacrifices first for their own sins and then only for those of the people, because he offered one sacrifice once and for all by offering up himself. You do not... No human sacrifices, y'all. This cannot happen this way. 4, Torah appoints a Kohanim Gadol, men who have weakness, but the text which speaks about swearing an oath, because we do have that, Kohanim, you don't butcher this one too. The text that's swearing the oath, a text written later than Torah, appoints a son who had been brought to the goal forever. Thank you. Who said what? Thank you. Let me read that slower again. It says, 28, for the Torah appoints as Kohanim Gadol men who have weaknesses. Is that correct? Yes, it is. They have weaknesses. But the text which speaks about the swearing of the oath, I don't know which one that is, a text written that later than the Torah. A text written later than the Torah. Why are we entertaining any text written later than the Torah concerning mitzvot that you want to use to establish your Kohen Gadol by having the audacity to go up above and talk about the tithes, saying, okay, this is why we're justifying this, because we can pull this Levitical issue about paying a tithe. You keep reaching over to grab our stuff, and you're mangling it, okay? A son who has been brought to the goal forever. Now, that ends Hebrews chapter 7. He said, good, I'm glad. I don't think I can stomach it anymore. That's a lot to go through. And you can't do that with somebody at work, or you standing in the beautician's chair, you getting your hair cut, or wherever you may be. You can't go through that whole liturgy with that, okay? You know what? And I'm done, I'm closing. You know what I'm more concerned about when I meet people and try to go through this whole entire dissertation? Because in order for them to even understand this, they're going to have an understanding of the mitzvot. The foundation of this is mitzvot. And you don't have time to do that. You know what I do now? I tell individuals that I meet, everything that you hear and everything that you read, you need to be able to verify it for yourself. You need to be able to read it for yourself. If you're going to start at Genesis and read all the way to Revelations, I'm guaranteeing you by the time that you get to Matthew, some things are going to be way, excuse my French, way the hell off. Okay? Not to saying that there's anything, when you get to Matthew, that's when the hell's going to start breaking loose. Okay? Read and challenge everything that you hear and see from anybody standing on the stage, including myself. You are responsible for the information that you know. Well, what does this got to do with my salvation? My salvation is what I want. I'm not dying and going to hell. I'm glad that you brought up the issue of hell, because that only proves my point. And this is what I tell people. Prove to me when hell was made and who made it. Prove to me when hell was made and who made it, because I can prove to you when the sun was made. I can prove to you when the stars were made and who made it. I can prove to you that construct you call a body, when that was made. I know what day it was made on, and I know who made it. I know the Eretz was made on a certain day, and I know who made it. So when was hell made and who made it? Because after 6 days, the Most High doesn't mention anything about making a hell. So if you're so worried about your salvation and dying and not going to hell, prove to me that place even exists. I don't want you to listen to what I have to say. I want you to go out, take the information, and verify it for yourself. You'll find out that hell is a construct that comes from the Roman Catholic Church that was inserted into the New Testament on purpose. Okay? Anytime in your Hebrew text it talks about anything remotely close to a quote-unquote hell, that's talking about Sheol. The translation for the word Sheol is the grave. It's the ground. Okay? Hell is a concept that's not in the mind of Hebrew Israel. Not at all. So, that's an easy conversation to have. I'm just giving you the information. I'm not out here to battle you. I'm not out here to fight you on anything. I just want you to have some information so you own it. Don't go run. If you want to go run into your pastor, go run to your pastor. But you need to know this about your own faith and your own religion. If you can't answer who made hell and when it was made, then why are you believing in that construct? And then sitting to say that you're going to base your soul and your salvation on a fictitious place? If it's all about my salvation and my soul. Okay? Have these conversations, and then when you get to that particular point, let me take you on over to Hebrews. After you get their feet wet a little bit with these mitzvos, you say, look at this doctrine over here. The El that you serve is being disrespected, and the mitzvot are being done away with. Is that what the Most High really wanted? I think not. Okay? Hopefully you got something out of this today in this dissertation.